going on, everybody? Excuse me. You're going to have to, first of all, bear with me just a little bit in this rundown. This is the first time in 10 years in Texas that I have been sick. I came down with the flu. I believe it's the flu, cough, cold, fever, head cold. In fact, I spent the whole day on the couch yesterday and then went to bed at 6 p.m. and didn't get out of bed until 8 a.m. this morning. That's 14 hours in bed, plus all day on the couch. I did not realize how bad I felt yesterday until I got up today. I feel so much better today, but it's a doozy. Swollen glands, splintery cough. I wish that on nobody. I hope that nobody else catches this. Staying at home on purpose to do my job from spreading it, but we're doing better. Bear with me just a little bit here. I may be a little slower than normal, which won't hurt. But my voice is kind of dry and scratchy. Anyways, let's tell you a little bit about the conditions and things that are happening. I'm a very honest person. I'm the first person that will absolutely say I'm wrong when I'm wrong. My daddy always taught me that. He's a colonel in the military, and that's what you do. When it's time to bite the bullet, you bite the bullet. And then you move on. That's it. So with the weather conditions that we're having right now, I feel kind of like I got to bite the bullet. Mother Nature in Northeast Texas is just goofy. And right now, if you were to fly a drone, all the trees are frostbitten and white, and we have freezing rain, and we've had it for over 24 hours. It's not a hard freeze, but it's a freeze, and it's a freeze that's big enough to probably kill all the little fresh green buds and things that we've been talking about have been happening, suggesting an early spring. However, I'm still not going to reverse myself. I still think we're going to have an earlier spring than normal. I said all the farmers and things have done their planting. A lot of their stuff that they would normally wait another month, they've cut their onion fields and stuff like that. But it's pretty interesting. I can barely walk up the steps to and from my garage to my home here without falling on my butt. It's iced over pretty good. And we're cold. We're at 30 degrees. It's not hard freeze, but it's still freezing. What does that do to fishing for the time being? Well, for this week, excuse me. Right now, the largemouth bass are a warm-watered species fish. I imagine you already know that. They're from the sunfish family. They like it hot and sunny. Some of the Florida strain bass that we particularly have here in Lake Fork, they like it sloppy hot, and they like junk and vegetation and algae and sloppy, messy water. They just do. That's all there is to it. They thrive in warm weather conditions. So when we get to conditions like we have right now, water temperatures below 50 degrees. We're 47 to 52, depending on where you are on the lake. And probably going to be a little cooler after this. 2 or 3, we still have 2 more days of this. The bass, like Mark Pack used to say on Fork, they just don't eat as much or as often. And the best place to fish best place to fish is from your couch. I'm not saying don't go to Lake Fork right now. I've got a few things I'm going to share with you publicly that you can go probably catch some fish. And we'll get to that in just a second. But generally, largemouth bass, when it's below, it doesn't matter where you are in the country, below that 50-degree mark, 47, 48, it's tough, it's slow. It's time to break out your flipping stick and pitch a jig to every single stump you can and go slow. And then we now have live scope. And so that's what I'm going to kind of share with you today. February is pretty much one of the best months for live scope, period, because the fish are in the trees. The fish are beginning to stage and beginning to move towards those grounds of spawning, those places where they want to spawn. And they stage in trees all along the whole process. So there's no better way now than to use a live scope. You will find them at the mouths of every major creek and every major drain or big pocket. Okay. Most of the fish are suspending in the trees that are in 20 to 25 feet of water or more. With the lake being low, some of those places are limited. But the mouths of major creeks, find those bass suspending in those trees. We are having elevation. The lake's been rising, 39781 on Monday, 39783, excuse me, on today. Clarities are a little goofy because the rain we had last week got the backwaters a little dirty, but you're going to be, in the main lake. You're going to be in the main lake, in the main mouths of the coast, Dale Creek, and so on. Bell, the mouth of Bell, the mouth of White Oaks, the mouth of I can go on and on, the mouth of Pinson, the mouth of Mustang, the points and things like that fish can stage in. And so the first thing is you got to be good with your live scope. And if you want to learn, this is a good time to learn about it. I don't really do much live scoping. I think this next year I might go ahead and get a board. I really feel that throughout the year, it's a tool as a pro fisherman, as a pro competitive fisherman. If you don't have it, it's like going to play baseball without a mitt. You have to have it. As a guide, I think it's limiting. I think that if you're a crappie guide, you got both guys up front with you fishing and it works out. When you're bass fishing and there's one or two fish in a tree, it's kind of like bed fishing for bass. One guy in the back doesn't have access, and for some other reasons, I just don't feel as a guide that live scoping is the way to go, at least for me. This is my opinion. I catch enough fish. I stay on the fish throughout the year without it. However, I do believe, again, that January and February is the month that if I was missing the live scope, if I ever had the itch to say, dang it, I wish I had the live scope, it would be this month right here. The other answer is, if you don't have live scope, and it's what we did for years, is go fish the channel banks. That means where the channel itself swings up against the bank, and channel swings. And those are very reliable. One of the homeworks that I like to do on those channel swings is I will look at them first. I will use my sonar, my down scan, side scan. I will get right in the main mouth of the creek, and I will idle the creek itself. And this is what's unique, is this holds the same trees, the same location that you're going to fish with the live scope. But I'm going to get right in the mouth of White Oaks, for example, and I'm going to follow the creek with my boat. So it's probably best to drop the trolling motor out in the mouth of the creek and just follow it with a trolling motor. But in my case, I like to use the big engine, side scan, down scan. And I will idle the whole creek from front to back. And what I'm looking for is the creek bends, the swings that have food. That's it. I want to find that of 2 miles, I want to find that quarter mile of where the bait is. And once I found that, then I know the area that I will spend my time. It's as simple as that. So that right there should show you guys that publicly I do give you some really good information. I'm giving you the juice right now. Just as much juice as I give my private members channel, with the exception of a few other bites and things that are happening on Fork that I'm going to tell them here in a minute when I do the members rundown. Before I go do my members rundown, I do want to tell you a few baits that I suggest you do use or attempt to use if you're going to be live scoping. There are 3 baits, okay? Number 1 bait, in my opinion, and Josh Jones has really put this on the map, is just a swim jig. This is a sand tone swim jig here. I'll bring that up close for you. Sand tone swim jig. I like it in 2 different colors. One is called Mean Green, and the other is just called White Shadow. Okay. Generally, you're probably going to want like a 5/16 minimum or a 7/16, which is ½ ounce. It just depends on how deep the fish are in the trees. Okay. When you are live scoping, you'll determine that. The fish can suspend in these trees and be at any depth. Remember, the trees you're looking for are generally going to be out there in that 20 to 25, 30 feet of water. So that allows them, they'll sit on the edges of the creeks. It allows those fish to go up and down. Sunny days, they might be up at 3, 4, 5 feet. Other days, they may be 8, 9, 10, 12, or really bad, they may be down deep. Generally, it's anywhere from 0 to 12 feet. Okay, so the swim jig, the key to the swim jig and the live scope is, number 1, no trailer. Just use the skirt itself. No trailer on that swim jig. Try it. Just try it. Use that live scope. Keep yourself a 30-foot, 40-foot distance from it and watch it fall on the live scope. When it falls past the fish, just kind of lift it back up. or the strike zones. So say you want 12 feet and just kind of yo-yo it through that 12-foot zone, whatever you think that strike zone is. The other bait that I really, really like the most, but it's got to be on a sunny day when they're up, and that's the jerk bait. This is a Lucky Craft pointer. It's in the color of IU. It's one of my favorites. It's a slender. You can use a lot of different varieties of the baits, but pointer 100, pointer 120, and then this would be just your sexy shad or blueback shad. Blue hair works too. Ghost works as well. That's when you see them more up in the tops of the trees. Same thing, you're still going to use that live scope to see them in the trees and then work the jerk bait accordingly. You're going to see a lot of followers. You're going to get them to follow a lot. You'll learn a whole lot with that live scope about the fish and about how they react. You'll realize along the way that we have a lot more followers throughout the year that don't take our bait time and time again. And a lot of fish. A lot of times when we've had a day where we don't catch anything, we've had a lot of fish look at our baits. They just didn't take it. And then the final one, which is probably one of my most favorites, period, for this time of year, is the Alabama rig. And the reason I want to show you this one has some, most of you may not know this, but sand tone lures. They make a lot of plastics now, plastic creature baits, etc. And they make some really good swimmers. These are paddle tail swimmers. But the reason I'm showing you this is I want you, first of all, to know the brand of Alabama rig that I like is Smash Tech. Okay. Smash Tech makes a really good, flexible, and economical Alabama rig. You can get this at Lake Fork Marina Motel. You can also get the swim jigs at Lake Fork Marina Motel. The Lucky Craft crankbaits you'll probably have to get online, maybe Bass Pro or the Hookup or Tackle Warehouse. But the reason I'm going to show you this rig is two things I want you to understand. Number one, I don't want all the baits the same. Even though these 5 baits are the same, the one in the middle has a chartreuse tail while the others don't. So a lot of times I'll just go 4 whites and 1 chartreuse, or 4 chartreuse and 1 white. I want that middle bait to be something different. And it helps them hone on it. It helps them center the object, especially like if you go white and chartreuse. If everything's white and the middle one's chartreuse, or all white chartreuse tail, that's ideal. The second thing I want to key in on, and I'm absolutely not, this isn't funny, but one of my friends and a guide, a local guide out here, just got DQ'd from a tournament. He might have been throwing these blades, I don't know, but there's 8 blades here. I love the 8 blades when I'm fun fishing. I did not know myself that in the tournaments, in the MLF anyways, that you're not allowed 8 blades. And he had a really good sack on day 1 and got DQ'd. And that sucks. So if you're a tournament angler, you might want to double check the rules. This is my whole point of bringing this up about Alabama rigs when you're fishing any of these tournaments. Even the amount of hooks that you're allowed to have. So I think he had 3 hooks and 2 fake baits, meaning no hook baits, but he had 8 blades. And they DQ'd his sack, which really sucks. It just sucks. So Alabama rigs are awesome, but if you're a tournament angler, especially maybe high school kids, you might be coming up this weekend to fish. That's why I'm saying this. Double check the rules about Alabama rigs, okay? I hate to give you information, tell you to go buy a bait, and then you get DQ'd on it. It will break my heart, all right? It's just not funny. No one deserves to have that happen, especially if you have a successful, hey, it's still relevant. You get DQ'd, you get DQ'd. It sucks. But man, you have a day like this guy had, and it breaks your heart. It really does. It changes everything, how you feel. I got DQ'd in the U.S. Open 2013 when my co-angler got a ticket for not having a fishing license. It's a shared weight format. And so whatever the pro catches, the co gets, and so on. And so you're really a team, and they look at it as a team, and it sucked. It really sucked. I didn't do anything wrong, but I got DQ'd. And so anyways, enough of that. Don't get DQ'd. Check your Alabama rules. That's how I would fish right now if I was going to be a diehard this week on Fork, whether it be during the week through these storms or this coming weekend. The sun's probably going to come back out. This weekend, this is a great way to approach it with a live scope in the trees. I want to share a couple other things. The other thing, as always, I want to invite you to the members only. There is a bite right now, especially when the sun comes out. The sun comes out this weekend, and it may not, but if it does, the next time that the sun comes out, what I'm going to share with members only will catch fish on Lake Fork. Absolutely. They're sunbathing bass. They love to sunbathe. And remember, I started this out with them being cold, and they go dormant, and they don't like the cold, but as soon as the sun comes out, they bask. They go bask. They love to sunbathe. So I'm going to be in a minute sharing with the members only what to be doing to catch some fish this weekend when the sun comes out, or later in the week when the sun comes out. So I'm inviting you over to the members channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look, this is a public channel. It's free. If you are willing to pay $4.99 a month, then subscribe. Please subscribe to my members only channel. There's over 250 members that find it very, very valuable. The cost of one of these lures right here that you give to a tree it costs more than the entire month subscription, where I give you 8 updated, detailed, more details than you get here in the public about Lake Fork and surrounding lakes. Okay, there's some really good fishing happening around in some of these other lakes around here right now. So come on over to the members only. Look in the description below. Hit join. It's easiest to use your laptop or your desktop. The phones, for some reason, iPhones and things don't work so well. But just go in the descriptions, hit the join button, become a member. I'd really love to see you become a member, okay? But with that being said, I want to also introduce you a couple things that are coming. And I want the public to be aware of this. A friend of mine makes glide baits on the West Coast. And he's really gotten good at what he does. He actually makes a lot of baits. So not only does he make glide baits, makes and paints glide baits, but he makes some really killer crankbaits, square bills, jigs. This is a mega dog. This is a top water, believe it or not, in the IU color. Okay, he makes just some outrageous stuff, some wake baits. So where I'm going with this is we've been coordinating together, and as of last year, he made up a few baits for me. Glide baits. Cactus Creek Outdoors AZ. You'll find them on Facebook. But he made up a glide bait for me, and we really caught fish on it. One of the most important things about glide baits is that it has to swim true, it has to stay true. When you stop reeling, it has to do the right thing. It has to glide right, it has to stay balanced right, it can't roll over. It's more of the action and the presentation of the bait that gets bit than even the paint color. But the key here is that, number one, glide baits catch really big fish on Lake Fork. And this bite will happen all in March and all of April, and even a little bit into May. If you watch the elite anglers the last couple of years, Chris Daldane threw a lot of glide baits. The key that I'm getting at here is most glide baits are very expensive. I have a collection of depths that are anywhere from $100 to $200, $199. I have a few of other brands that exceed that. They're up in the 250s, 300s or more. And realistically, to go throw some of those baits can get, that are handmade, custom made, can get really expensive. And we worry about throwing that kind of bait, or losing that kind of bait. And so where I'm going with is, number one, I coordinated with the owner of Cactus Creek Outdoors AZ, and I've come up with 4 colors in the glide baits, okay? And those 4 colors are, I had the packages on its way to me so I can show you them in one of the next rundowns. Probably not this Thursday, but next Tuesday. I'll actually show you these baits. We have an IU color. We have a chartreuse IU color. We have Mike's citrus shad. And then we have Mike's chartreuse dirty shad. So there'll be 4 choices of glide baits to choose from. And this is basically the main size that I would throw on Lake Fork. We are also working on an upgraded size. And here's the deal. $50. $50. I know that sounds a lot, but you don't generally lose them too much unless you snap them off in the cast or lose them to a big fish. If you get hung up, you're usually using them shallow enough you can go get them. But $50 over $200. So right now, for example, a depth's $250 is $200. For the price of one depth, I can have 4 of these. All right, it just makes sense. And I'm telling you, look in my archives. Find me on Facebook if you're not following me already, Mike McFarland or the Lake Fork Guide business page. Go back to last March and April and watch how many big fish have this in their mouth. Last year, Brooke, my best friend Brooke, had never caught a fish on a glide bait. And when the owner sent me this in January, I got it in January. I was fishing with Brooke. I took her out and I didn't even throw it. I just tossed it in the water to see what it'd do. And when it hit the water and had its instant, hit sideways and it instantly squared up and looked real, I said, oh my gosh, Brooke, we're going to catch him on this. And she said, I've never caught one on a glide bait. Well, uniquely enough, I have it on video that the day I said, okay, let's go throw the glide baits, within I think 3, 4, 5 casts, she caught her first big fish on glide bait. But Cactus Creek Outdoors AZ, I have 4 colors: IU, Chartreuse IU, Mike's Citrus Shad, and Mike's Chartreuse Dirty Shad. Those are on their way. The other day, the owner called me and he said, do you use square bills? And I said, well, yeah, I use a lot of square bills. He said, well, why don't we do something with square bills as well? And so, to introduce this, I'm going to show you here soon when they arrive as well. But there's going to be 5 colors of Mike's custom square bills for Lake Fork. We are going to have Mike's Red Crawl, Mike's Citrus Shad, Mike's Chartreuse Blueback, Mike's Tennessee Shad, and Mike's Sexy Shad. The square bill that I'm showing you, getting ready to show you, I don't have it today, is pretty bad to the bone. It's a big profile. It's more like a 4.0, maybe between a 4.0 and an 8.0. I can't wait to show you. But I just wanted to kind of get you excited. I wanted to let you know that that's what's coming. That's it. So, oh, this cough is, yesterday was like coughing up glass. At least today I'm productive and it feels a little bit better. Man, it hurts. I don't wish that on anybody. Getting sick sucks. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate the following. Look, the public channel continues to grow. It's growing slowly, but it continues to grow. And I'm grateful for you. I hope you tell your friends about the public channel. I really hope that you decide that for $4.99, it's worth it. A month. Just a month. Come on. $4.99. That's a gallon. These days, it's about 1.25 gallons of gas. Come on over to the members only. If you don't like it, you can backtrack. You can unsubscribe and just stay with the public. My bet is if you try it, you'll love it. So hit the like button. Comment below. Be safe fishing. If you're out there in these conditions, remember, man, you fall in the water in these kind of conditions. It's dangerous. You can get hypothermia real fast. Don't fish alone. I mean, you can literally bump a stump with your boat, go in the water, get back in your boat, and by the time you get back to a marina, and you could be in trouble. So just be really aware. This kind of stuff is dangerous. So thank you so much. I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guy.